How's it going, YouTube? Tyler, the Hotshot Hauler here, guys. Guys, the video you're about to watch is of my last week in the hotshot trucking industry. It took place just over 2 months ago, and I originally was not going to post the footage due to me being very salty. It was a salty experience coming to terms with accepting that my business was not making enough money and I was not making enough money for how hard I was working, and accepting those terms after I fought so hard for a year to succeed was really hard for me to come to terms with, and it took some time for the saltiness to go away. So, but since then, I've moved across the country, have different stuff going on in life now, and I stumbled upon the footage, and I figured I'd share it with you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the video. It was a very solid week. Lessons learned as always, and man, I got absolutely soaked with rain, and I was in rain like I'd never been in rain before. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. So for this week, we are heading to Oklahoma. I'm currently on my way to Arvada, Colorado, to pick up a Toro riding lawnmower. It weighs about 8,500 pounds. We're gonna pick that up today about 11 a.m. and then we're just gonna bring it back to the house. It's currently Thursday. And we are going to sit on that mower at the house until Monday morning. We will leave Monday morning to head down to Oklahoma. This load is only paying $1,100, and they would not budge even a penny more than $1,100. I couldn't even get them to go up at all. But the reason why I took it is because I have a tractor waiting down right by where I'm dropping this mower that I have to bring back to Colorado Springs. The total mileage from pickup to drop is about 700 miles. But due to the fact that I have to pick up, bring it back to the house, and then leave next week with all my deadhead, because I have about 100-mile deadhead, it is going to add about 175 miles. So the total mileage is going to go up to about 875 miles. So that's about $1.25 a mile. So realistically, unless if I can get something else on the trailer, I'm literally going to cover expenses and make about 5 cents a mile. On the way down. Hopefully we can fill the trailer with something tiny on the way down, since we have a couple days, and then hopefully on the way back, because the tractor I'm picking up is pretty small, it's only about 4,000 pounds, so we should have a good amount of deck space and weight to hopefully fill the trailer to get us home. We're going to see what we can make happen, and hopefully a little bit of luck can flow our way this week. So I'll see you guys at pickup. All right, guys, we made it here to pickup. He's walking to get the mower right now. We'll get this loaded and start heading back towards the house. The pickup address was incorrect. I had to drive about 5 more miles down the road to come here to get it. It all worked out though. They added 20 bucks to the Raycon, so that's nice. I'll take that. So guys, loading this mower was a little bit challenging just because the steering is on the rear. So it kind of really threw me off, and it was super sensitive, and I kept having to like adjust and readjust. So guys, after I got the machine up, I had to close my ramps and then back it up a little bit so that way it fit, and I was having to deal with the steering in the rear, which was throwing me off. I just ran a strap over the front here to hold down this cutting edge, and then I just did a 4-point tie down with chains. All right, guys, so I've learned a new lesson. As always, we're always learning. So do not do a tie down like this, especially if it's this heavy. If the item's light, it's not a big deal, but this ramp is being held down by that latch. So if that latch gives, the ramp is no longer being held down, and the ramp is what the binder is secured to. So watch this. So when you pop the latch, it lifts up, and now loose as shit. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna run the binder down to the actual frame mount of the trailer and not on the ramp. So we're gonna get that fixed. All right guys, we got them fixed on the back end here. We ran our short little segment of 3/8 chain down to here, hooked it onto there. We're good to go now. How I actually was discovered the error was I sent the photo to the trailer store, to the owner of the trailer store, and I said, hey, thank you for the welds. You know, they're doing great. And he said, hey, awesome, but the problem is with that is that the ramps are being held down from the latch. So he's like, undo the latch and see if the ramp lifts. If the ramp lifts at all, your tie down's no good. But if the ramp doesn't lift, then your tie down's fine. So I lifted the latch, as you guys saw, and the ramp lifted. So we had to move it. You know, that was a good lesson learned. We'll do the reset at the house on the weekend, and then we will head out to Oklahoma on Monday with the mower. Guys, got some updates for you here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good is I landed another partial to fill the trailer coming back from Oklahoma City, going back to Hudson, Colorado, which is northeast of Denver. It's a small trailer mounted generator, about 12 foot long, and weighs about 3,000 pounds. So between that and the tractor, the trailer should be full. So now the bad. I had a tentative load booked that I was supposed to pick up today on my way down to Oklahoma that would have been absolutely perfect. I started going through the process with the broker on Saturday. I did all the paperwork except for the rate con. Okay, guys, here is the lesson here. Do not ever leave for a load until you have a signed rate con, okay? I obviously knew that going into this, but if I didn't know that, if it would have been a different situation, I could have really got screwed. So, very long story short, I filled out all the paperwork except up to the rate con, and then I never got the rate con, couldn't get a hold of the broker, couldn't get a hold of anybody to get me any type of information or paperwork. So, but to make it to this load, I had to leave my house this morning at 4:30 in the morning. So that's what I did because I knew that it was the route I was going to take was only going to add about 5 miles and about 15 minutes of time to the whole trip down to Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. So I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and roll the dice. So that's what I did. I rolled the dice and it burned me. Was sending the broker texts, calls, like soon as like 6 o'clock rolled around because he was out of Florida, so I figured he was in the office at 8 a.m. So this is where it gets ugly. So this scumbag broker didn't bother to call me, text me, nothing. I finally got a hold of somebody at the brokerage, and then this guy didn't even have the balls to call me. He sends me a text and says, oh yeah, the load's off. So me, I got pretty heated because I said, okay, well, hey, I know you don't have to pay me TONU because I don't have a rate con, but, you know, I kind of would like some TONU because you really left me hanging out here on the clothesline and didn't even do me a courtesy to shoot me a text this morning or anything. I had to call in, and you've been at work for like 3 hours and just left me hanging for all this time. I think that's a pretty shitty thing to do to somebody. And he basically laughed in my face, made fun of wasting my time, and thought it was a game. So I proceeded to tell him what I thought of him in some very, very colorful words. That was that. So anyways, guys, I'll update you tomorrow at drop of the mower. Have a good day. So here I am in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, getting this mower off. It was pretty funny when we started it up. The RPM was set to the max, and it went straight to red line right after it fired up. So that was entertaining. Thankfully, it didn't blow up, and it got off smooth. All right, guys, we are done at the pickup of the tractor. I'll show it to you. I didn't film because it was raining cats and dogs. I am soaked from head to toe. My rain gear only lasted so long. But let me go ahead and show you the load, and then we are going to head down to Edmond, Oklahoma to pick up the trailer. This tractor with the mower on the back turned out to be a lot bigger than what I intended, like significantly bigger. The trailer that we pick up, the tongue is probably going to be hanging off the back of the trailer because I've only got about 9 to 10 foot of deck space left. So let's go over it. All right, guys, so here we are. I had to throw the bucket up on the neck because I didn't have enough room to get my second load on. So that's what we had to do. And then I put the bale spike. It had a bale spike with it. I put that on front here. Ran 2 1/4 inch binders, and then I just put my little low strap here over the top. It's really not heavy. You can slide it by hand. I ran two 10-foot chains and an X to the front axle, and then I just ran two 5-foot sections here to this part of the loader arm frame. That's what I usually do. And then back here, that green strap is to hold the wheel, so I can get more room on the deck. And then I just ran two straps over the mower. So we're good to go, guys. We got about 40 minutes to go to the other pickup.
Is that all you got? Yeah. Back up a little bit. It's gonna be centered enough. You want it over some more?
If you could go over, if you got any more
give. Up and go over some more that way.
That's good. That's all she wrote. On these tiny trailers, if you use the provided tie-down rings, they just bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce. So you really have to go as low as possible. And I like to throw a strap right over the tongue, and then I actually put one right over top of the rear axle, or the axle, I mean. The reason is because even with the 4-point, it will still bounce. So this will help keep it seated and hopefully not bounce. All right, guys, let's go ahead and have a little teaching moment here. So guys, make sure you know where your weigh stations are. I use the Trucker Path GPS. I use it because you can use it to find weigh stations. So if you don't know where the permanent weigh stations are, like in your area or whenever you're traveling, it's good to open that up and check. Here's why. So I just scaled before I got fuel. The reason why I scaled was because I was concerned that my rear truck axle would be overweight because of how far the tractor is sitting forward. So even though the total load weight is only 23,000 pounds total, you know, truck, trailer, and cargo, I'm only sitting at 23,000 GVW. But because that tractor is so far forward, I was worried, okay, hey, I might be overweight. Well, I was overweight on my rear truck axle by only 150 pounds. And the reason why I wanted to know before I got fuel was because I knew I had a port near Oklahoma City that I had to go through. So I made sure to get fuel after the port, so that way I wouldn't go through the port overloaded on my rear end at like 500 pounds. I'd only go through it maybe 100 pounds over. Just have to be strategic sometimes, and it never hurts to pay the $13 to go get scaled, because you definitely do not want to get in a situation where you have to move loads around on your trailer. And if you can't move the load, or, you know, for me to move all this, it would take me an hour at a minimum. It's better to be safe than sorry to spend the $13 to get a scale and have that sense of security than to just wing it and get jammed up with overloading an axle or being overweight completely or something like that. You don't want to do that. So guys, we're gonna fall short of Colorado today, unfortunately. It looks like we're only gonna make it to Goodland, Kansas. Between all the delays and me having to re-secure crap and the weather, you know, we lost a lot of time. Like, we lost over about an hour and a half of time. So unfortunately, we are going to be having to shut down early because of duty day time. We are going to run out of time. So we're going to make it to Goodland, Kansas tonight, and we're going to call it a night. So I will see you guys tomorrow at drop with the generator. That makes me feel good because it means that, you know, you care enough to watch my misery. All right, guys, so thankfully I was able to drop this tractor off at the trailer store where I usually do a lot of my work. The tractor was having a malfunction with the regeneration system for the DPF. So it was operating at really, really low power and limp mode, but we ended up getting it off and slung the bale spike into a truck bed and headed home. We did get booked for a power-only load out to Salt Lake City to pick up the green trailer from Sunbelt, the hydro seeder that we took out there about a month ago. So I'm going to head out to Salt Lake tomorrow morning, and hopefully we can get that hooked onto tomorrow night and start our way back so we can have a shorter Friday. So I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, we made it out here to Ogden, Utah. The customer was nice enough to bring about 10 miles closer to me because I got here so late and they wanted me to get here late. So it paid off, saved some mileage and some time, and a much better spot to pick up. Let's go over it. All right, guys, we're here at the Maverick in Ogden, Utah. Gonna get some fuel after this, but we're all hooked up. The trailer is actually, I think, in better condition than I brought it. I made sure to bring a 7-way extender that I bought since last time. Hooked it onto the pintle hitch, nice and greased. Got everything all zip tied up, safety chains, of course. And then we got the breakaway running up underneath. There's a nice hook for the breakaway under there. So we are good to go, guys. We're gonna start heading back towards Wyoming. And then we'll make it to Evanston, Wyoming tonight. And then we'll get this dropped off early tomorrow afternoon. We made it here and the jack on the trailer broke. So I'm gonna have to get a piece of equipment to pick it up off of my hitch. So I thought we were gonna make it the whole way without problems. I got here and I went to jack it up and the jack literally ripped off in my hand. So I gotta get a piece of equipment to lift this off of my hitch because the jack is inoperative. Been a long week. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but it's been a good week. We got to run the numbers, but we should be right about the $4,000 mark for the week. And guys, that hydro seeder trailer, I swear, is cursed. If you watch the first video of me taking that thing out there, it was a handful of problems. And then on the way back today, or actually last night, I started having lighting issues, of course, at the port. They didn't give me an inspection or anything, and I was having to jiggle with the electrical connections and fix them. It's just been a headache with that trailer. And then to add the final insult to injury from that damn trailer, the jack decided to break up in the gear train where the there's a pin in there that basically locks in to engage the gear train. And the pin did the delete, I guess, since we hooked it on. So thankfully we were able to get it off with the forklift, but if the forklift wouldn't have been there, I have my bottle jack that I would have gotten it off my truck with. So thankfully though, everything went good, pretty streamlined, but I am so glad that this week is over with. It's been an ass kicker of a week. All right, guys, we made it home, and let's go ahead and talk about the week. So for this week, we grossed a total of $4,020. Now, of the loads, here's how they paid out. The mower going down to Oklahoma only paid out $1,120. I was supposed to have that small partial to fill the front of my trailer that was almost all the way booked on Saturday, and that was supposed to pay me $450. We got ramrodded, screwed out of that. That was a first for me, and something that was very, very frustrating. And I've never had to deal with somebody who thought it was funny to waste people's time and laugh in your face because they think it's funny, I guess. Tractor load, that was a private haul load. That one's going to pay me $1,000. The green generator on the back paid $500. And the power-only load that we ran at the end of the week for the hydro seeder paid $1,400. Now, here's how the mileage breaks down. So for the regular Hotshot freight with my trailer, that was a total of 1,787 miles. That came out to a rate per mile of $1.46 for that. Okay? Not very good, guys. Granted, we are in the green, but that's only about 26 cents per mile of salary, give or take. So really, that's not very good. Sunbelt load, that paid a total of $1,400, like I said, and the total mileage on that power only came out to 1,220 miles. So that is a rate per mile of $1.14. However, with power only, you have to your expenses drop drastically. So your cost per mile drops anywhere from about 25 to 35 cents a mile. it kind of fluctuates. And that's due to, obviously, because you're using much less fuel because you're getting much better fuel economy, but also you have the whole aspect of wear and tear drops drastically. It increases your tire life on your tires of your truck because you're not loaded and you're not dragging a trailer around, so you don't have any of that wear and tear. So I estimate that when I run power only, it saves me about 30 cents per mile in cost per mile. So if you add 30 cents to $1.14 per mile, that comes out to $1.44 per mile, rate per mile, okay, technically, okay, however you want to split it, whatever it is. The rate per mile doesn't change, but the expenses change. So we'll go ahead and call it $1.45 a mile of rate per mile from the door back to the door for the end of the week. Our total expenses came out to a total of $1,390. That was between fuel, DEF, food, and I had to pay for 2 nights in a hotel because we had, hopefully, our last winter storm of the year. The nights were really cold. There was freezing ice, rain type snow that actually came through Wyoming last night that I saw the remnants of when I was driving back today to Colorado across Wyoming. So glad we missed all that crap. So that gives us $2,630 left over after direct expenses. If you cut that number in half, that's basically a salary of approximately, we'll call it about $1,300 this week. It was a long week, guys. The log was down to, I worked 55 hours on the log, not including about the 6 hours from last week on Friday, and then I had maintenance on the weekend. So, guys, it was a long week. It was a very long week. Hopefully, going forward, we can continue to stay in the green. Hopefully, we can start to pick up more local work. It is kind of concerning to me that the local customers have not really been calling in very much, just due to the fact of that there's not a lot of work right now, guys. The economy is struggling really bad, and everything is struggling. To sum it up, if you enjoyed this video, please shoot me a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to throw them in the comment section. And guys, stay tuned for more Hotshot content. Thank you.